The ground shook violently beneath the mining colony on Kepler 442b. Captain Maria Santos grabbed the edge of her desk as dust fell from the ceiling. The tremor lasted only 30 seconds, but it was enough. Warning lights flashed red across every screen in the command center. "Massive cave-in in Sector 7, reported Marcus Chin, the human engineer. His voice was steady, but his knuckles were white as he gripped his console. The old tunnel system just collapsed. Maria stood and looked around the command room. It was filled with various alien species, all part of the Galactic Council mining operation. The insect-like Vraxi clicked their mandibles nervously. The tall, reptilian Keltharians hissed in their native tongue. The shimmering Zephrons pulsed with agitated light. "Anyone hurt?" Maria asked. "No casualties," Marcus confirmed. "But we're picking up something strange. There's a life sign in the collapsed area. Something big." Commander Thex, a Keltharian with dark green scales, moved closer to the screen. His yellow eyes narrowed. "Scan it again. Identify the species." The room fell silent as the computer processed the data. When the results appeared, several aliens gasped. One Vraxi worker actually stepped backward. "Dreadmaw," Thex said coldly. "An adult by the size readings." Maria had heard of Dreadmaws but never seen one. They were supposed to be extinct, massive predators with armor-like crystal plates covering their bodies. Ancient and dangerous. "It's trapped under the collapse," Dr. James Park said. The human medical officer studied the readings carefully. "Severely injured. Multiple fractures, internal bleeding. It won't survive long without help." "Good," Thex said. His tone was flat, emotionless. "Then nature will solve our problem." Maria turned to stare at the commander. "What do you mean good? That creature is dying down there." "Exactly. Dreadmaws are extremely dangerous. They are also expensive to relocate and nearly impossible to treat medically." Thex crossed his arms. "We seal the sector and continue our work." "You can't be serious," Maria said, her voice rising. "We can't just leave it to die." A Vraxi supervisor clicked forward. "Captain Santos, you must understand. This is standard protocol. The creature is a threat. Resources required for rescue would be substantial. The logical choice is clear." Dr. Aisha Okonkwo, the human xenobiologist, pulled up more data on her tablet. "According to these scans, the creature is in terrible pain. The rock has pierced through its chest cavity. It's suffering." "Then it will suffer briefly," Thex said. He turned to address the room. "I am ordering immediate evacuation of Sector 7 and adjacent areas. We will seal the sector within 2 hours. All personnel will comply." Maria felt her chest tighten with anger. She looked around the room. Every alien face showed the same expression, cold acceptance. This was normal to them. This was the right choice in their eyes. "I object to this order," Maria said loudly. "That's a living being down there." "Your objection is noted and overruled," Thex replied. "Humans are too emotional about such matters. This is why your species struggles with council decisions." He pointed toward the door. "Evacuate with the others." "That is an order." The aliens began filing out of the command center. Maria stood frozen, watching them leave. She could hear it now, transmitted through the facility's audio system. A deep, rumbling sound from below. The Dreadmaw was crying out in pain and fear. The sound echoed through the empty corridors. James Park walked up beside Maria. "What are we going to do?" Maria looked at him, then at Marcus and Aisha. Her 3 human crew members. They all had the same expression on their faces. They were thinking what she was thinking. "We're not leaving it," Maria said quietly. "I don't care what Thex ordered. We're humans. We don't abandon anyone to die alone in the dark." Marcus nodded slowly. "We'll need equipment. Medical supplies. Structural supports for the unstable tunnels." "Then let's get moving," Maria said. "We have less than 2 hours before they seal that sector." "And that creature down there? It's not dying today." Maria and her team moved quickly through the empty corridors. Everyone else had evacuated Sector 7, leaving only the 4 humans behind. They pushed a cart loaded with medical equipment, oxygen tanks, and metal supports for the unstable cave. "This is insane," Marcus muttered, but he kept pushing the cart. "We could lose our jobs. Maybe even face prison." "Then we face prison," Maria said. She checked her helmet light one more time. "I can live with that. I can't live with leaving a thinking, feeling creature to die scared and alone." They reached the sealed entrance to Sector 7. The door had a bright red warning symbol flashing across it. Marcus pulled out his override key and hesitated for just a moment. Once they went through, there was no going back. "Do it," Maria said. The door hissed open. Warm, dusty air rushed out from the darkness beyond. The groaning sound was louder here. It echoed off the walls, a deep, mournful cry that made Maria's heart ache. "It knows it's dying," Aisha whispered. "It's calling for help." They descended into the collapsed tunnel. The path was treacherous, with loose rocks and cracked support beams everywhere. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness, revealing the destruction. Finally, after 20 minutes of careful climbing, they saw it. The Dreadmaw was enormous. Even lying on its side, trapped under tons of rock, it stood taller than Maria. Its body was covered in crystalline plates that caught their lights and threw rainbow colors across the cave walls. A massive stone pillar had fallen through its chest, pinning it to the ground. Dark purple blood pooled around the wound. "Oh my God," James breathed. "How is it still alive?" The creature's eye opened. It was huge, almost the size of Maria's head, and a deep amber color. The pupil contracted in the light. The Dreadmaw saw them and made a sound, something between a growl and a whimper. "It's terrified," Aisha said. She took a step forward slowly, hands raised. "Easy, friend. We're here to help. We won't hurt you." The Dreadmaw thrashed weakly, trying to move away. The movement caused more blood to flow from its wound. More rocks tumbled down from above. "We need to calm it down or it'll kill itself," James said. He unpacked his medical scanner and pointed it at the creature. "Its heart rate is through the roof. Blood pressure dropping. We have maybe 6 hours, maybe less." Marcus began setting up structural supports around them. The cave could collapse again any second. "We're literally risking our lives here." "Then work faster," Maria said. She moved beside Aisha, kneeling near the creature's massive head. "Hey there, big guy. I know you're scared, but we're going to help you. I promise." The Dreadmaw's eye fixed on Maria. For a long moment, they stared at each other. Then something changed. The creature stopped thrashing. Its breathing slowed slightly. Those intelligent amber eyes studied Maria's face with an intensity that took her breath away. "It understands," Aisha said softly. "Look at its eyes. Really look. That's not an animal. That's someone looking back at us." James moved closer with his medical equipment. "We need to stabilize the bleeding first, then figure out how to remove that rock without killing it. This is going to take hours. Maybe all night." Above them they heard a crackling sound. Maria's radio came to life. It was Commander Thex. "Captain Santos, I know you're down there. You are in direct violation of my orders. If you do not evacuate immediately, you will be arrested and Earth's mining contract will be terminated. Do you understand?" Maria looked at the Dreadmaw. At those intelligent, pleading eyes. At the wound that was slowly killing this magnificent creature. She reached up and turned off her radio. "Let's get to work," she said. Marcus smiled despite himself. "We're definitely getting arrested." "Probably," Maria agreed. She pulled on her medical gloves. "But first we're saving a life." The Dreadmaw made a soft rumbling sound. Almost like gratitude. Its enormous head relaxed slightly against the cave floor, trusting these strange small creatures who had come when everyone else had left. Hour 3 of the operation. James wiped sweat from his forehead and checked his scanner again. The Dreadmaw's vital signs were weak but stable. "Barely. We can't move it," he said. "If we try to transport it to a proper medical facility, it will die before we get there. We have to do the surgery here. Now." Marcus finished welding the last support beam into place. "I've stabilized the cave as much as I can. But another tremor could bring the whole thing down on our heads." "Then we better work fast," Maria said. She looked at the massive rock pillar impaling the creature's chest. "How do we remove that without it bleeding to death?" Aisha studied the wound carefully. "We need to seal the blood vessels as we go. Cut away the rock piece by piece, cauterize, then move to the next section. It will take hours." "Do we have hours?" Maria asked. James shook his head. "Maybe. If we're lucky and nothing goes wrong." They began. Marcus used a plasma cutter to carefully slice into the rock. The tool sparked and hissed, throwing blue light across the cave walls. Every few minutes he would stop and let James move in. The doctor used every piece of equipment they had, adapted for the creature's alien biology. He sealed bleeding vessels with a laser cauterizer. He injected coagulants to help the blood clot faster. The Dreadmaw whimpered but stayed still. Its massive eye never left Maria, who knelt by its head, speaking softly. "You're doing great," she said. "Just hang on. We're getting there. You're so brave." Aisha noticed something strange. As they worked, the crystalline plates on the creature's body began to glow faintly. Soft pulses of light traveled across its armor like waves. "What is that?" Marcus asked, pausing his cutting. "I don't know," Aisha said. She scanned the plates with her equipment. Her eyes went wide. "These aren't just armor. They're neural interfaces. Sensory organs. It's like its entire body is one giant brain surface." "What does that mean?" Maria asked. "It means this creature is probably far more intelligent than we thought," Aisha said quietly. "And it means the pain it's feeling is amplified through its whole body. Every moment must be agony." As if in response, the Dreadmaw made a low sound. The lights in its plates pulsed in a pattern. Aisha stared at them. "It's trying to communicate," she whispered. Hour 9. They were halfway through removing the rock when disaster struck. The ground shook violently. Support beams groaned and twisted. Rocks began falling from the ceiling like rain. "Cave in," Marcus shouted. "Everyone down." A massive boulder broke free directly above Maria. She looked up and froze. There was no time to move. The rock plummeted toward her. Then the world shifted. Despite its terrible wound, despite being pinned and dying, the Dreadmaw moved. It swung its massive head up and over Maria, taking the impact of the falling boulder on its own crystalline skull. The rock shattered against its armor with a deafening crack. The Dreadmaw collapsed back down, dazed but alive. So was Maria. "It saved me," Maria gasped. She touched the creature's face with trembling hands. "You saved me." "What? We're strangers. Why would you protect me?" The Dreadmaw's eye focused on her. The lights in its plates pulsed again, slower now. Weaker. The pattern looked almost like words. Aisha was crying. "It understands what we're doing. It knows we're trying to save it. And it's returning the favor." Something shifted in that moment. This wasn't just a rescue anymore. This was something deeper. A connection between species. Between souls. "We finished this," James said, his voice fierce. "No matter what it takes. This creature is a person. And we don't let people die." Hour 14. The last piece of rock came free. James worked frantically to seal the massive wound. The Dreadmaw's breathing was shallow, its lights dimming. "Come on," Maria begged. "Stay with us, please. You didn't save my life just to die now. Stay with us." The Dreadmaw's eye flickered. Then, slowly, its chest rose and fell. "What?" Twice. Its lights pulsed weakly but steadily. "It's stable," James said, exhausted. "It's going to live." Maria leaned against the creature's face and closed her eyes. "We did it." 3 weeks passed. Maria and her team refused to leave the cave. They set up a makeshift camp beside the Dreadmaw, taking turns sleeping and monitoring its recovery. The creature grew stronger each day. Its wound began to heal, though slowly. The Galactic Council was furious. Messages came daily, each one more threatening than the last. Earth's mining rights were suspended. The human crew faced criminal charges. Commander Thex demanded their immediate arrest. But Maria didn't care. She sat beside the creature they had started calling Titan, watching the light patterns dance across its crystalline plates. Aisha spent hours studying those patterns. She recorded them, analyzed them, compared them to language structures from 100 different worlds. On day 23 she figured it out. "It's not random," she told the others, her voice shaking with excitement. "The lights, the patterns, the pulses. It's language. Titan is speaking to us. He's been speaking to us this whole time." "What is he saying?" Maria asked. Aisha pulled up her computer screen. "It took me weeks to decode, but I managed to translate some basic concepts. And Maria, there's something you need to know. Something terrible." She showed them files she had uncovered in the old colonial archives. Records that had been buried and classified. The truth about the Dreadmaws. "They're not animals," Aisha said. "They never were. The Dreadmaws were a sentient species. They had cities, culture, art, science. Everything. They were pre-space flight, still developing their technology. What happened to them?" James asked, though he already feared the answer. "The Keltharians found them 3,000 years ago," Aisha continued. "They wanted the crystalline plates. They're worth a fortune, can be used in advanced technology. So they hunted the Dreadmaws. All of them. They told the Galactic Council that Dreadmaws were just dangerous beasts. The Council believed them. Or maybe they just didn't want to admit they had allowed genocide." Maria felt sick. She looked at Titan, who watched them with those intelligent amber eyes. "They left a person to die. They knew what he was and they left him anyway." Aisha nodded. "I established basic communication with Titan yesterday. I've been talking to him through light patterns." She took a deep breath. "He told me his story. He was a scholar. He studied ancient caves and rock formations. 300 years ago, he entered a deep hibernation chamber to wait out a harsh winter. But our mining operation destroyed the chamber and woke him early. He's been alone all this time. The last of his kind. Marcus stared at Titan. 300 years alone. Knowing your entire species is dead. How does anyone survive that? Through Aisha's translation device, Titan's response came as text on a screen. I survived by remembering. By hoping that somewhere in the universe, kindness still existed. You proved I was right to hope. Maria's radio crackled. It was Commander Thex. Captain Santos, this is your final warning. A council warship will arrive in 48 hours. You will surrender the creature to us or face immediate arrest. Earth will be expelled from the Galactic Council. Maria looked at her team. What do we do? We fight, James said simply. We can't fight a warship, Marcus pointed out. Aisha held up her tablet. No, but we can tell the truth. The whole galaxy needs to know what the Dreadmaws really were. What Titan really is. Through the translator, Titan's message appeared. No. I will not let you sacrifice everything for me. I will surrender myself. You have already given me more than I ever dreamed. You showed me that goodness exists. That is enough. Maria shook her head firmly. That's not how humans work, Titan. We don't abandon family. And like it or not, you're family now. Family, Titan's message read. The lights on his plates pulsed in a pattern that looked almost like crying. I have not had family in 300 years. Well, you have one now, Maria said. She stood up and looked at her team. We have 2 days to prepare. Let's show the council what happens when you threaten someone humans care about. The warship arrived exactly on schedule. It hung in the sky above the mining colony like a dark metal storm cloud. Maria stood at the cave entrance with her team watching it. Behind them, Titan waited in the shadows. He was strong enough to walk now, though he still moved carefully. This is Commander Thex of the Galactic Council Enforcement Division. The voice boomed from speakers across the colony. You have 1 hour to surrender the creature and yourselves. If you refuse, we will take you by force. Maria activated her communicator. This is Captain Maria Santos. We refuse. Then you are all under arrest, Thex responded coldly. We are sending troops now. Marcus had spent the last 2 days working. He had set up cameras, transmitters, and communication arrays all around the cave. Ready when you are, he told Aisha. Aisha took a deep breath and activated the broadcast. It went live to every public network in the galaxy. Billions of beings across thousands of worlds suddenly saw her face. My name is Dr. Aisha Okonkwo, she began. I'm a xenobiologist working on Kepler 442b. I need to tell you the truth about the Dreadmaws. The truth your governments have hidden for 3,000 years. She showed them the archived files. The documents proving the Dreadmaws were sentient. The records of the genocide. The cover-up by the Galactic Council. The evidence was undeniable. They told you Dreadmaws were monsters, Aisha said. They lied. And when we found one trapped and dying, they ordered us to let him die. Because they didn't want the truth to come out. Titan moved into view of the cameras. His massive form filled the screen. His crystalline plates glowed with soft light as he began to communicate through the translator Aisha had built. I am Titan. His words appeared as subtitles in 1,000 languages. I am the last of my people. 300 years ago, I went to sleep in a peaceful world. I woke to find everyone I loved was gone. Murdered. Forgotten. The council declared us animals so they could avoid guilt for allowing our extinction. The broadcast reached every corner of the galaxy. People stopped working. They gathered around screens. They listened. When I was trapped and dying, every species abandoned me, Titan continued. Every species except one. The humans knew nothing of my people. They owed me nothing. They gained nothing by saving me. But they saw a living being in pain and they could not walk away. They risked everything because compassion mattered more than rules. The warship's troops were landing now. Armed Keltharian soldiers marched toward the cave. The humans taught me something, Titan said. Civilization is not measured by technology or power. It is measured by how we treat those who cannot help themselves. By that measure, these humans are the most civilized beings I have ever known. On worlds across the galaxy, something shifted. On the Vraxi homeworld, young workers walked out of factories in protest. On Zephron stations, energy beings dimmed their lights in solidarity. On Keltharia itself, millions gathered in the capital demanding answers. The soldiers reached the cave entrance. Their weapons were raised. Maria and her team stood firm, unarmed, protecting Titan with their bodies. Then the lead soldier stopped. He lowered his weapon. "I have children," he said quietly. "What would I tell them if I hurt you for doing the right thing?" He turned to his squad. "Stand down. All of you." The other soldiers hesitated, then lowered their weapons too. Commander Thex's voice exploded over the communicator. "What are you doing? I gave you an order." "With respect, Commander," the soldier replied, "I don't follow orders that make me ashamed of what I am." Within hours, the Galactic Council emergency session was called. The public outrage was too massive to ignore. The Keltharian government fell. New elections were demanded across multiple worlds. 3 months later, Maria stood in the council chambers on the capital world. Titan stood beside her, the first Dreadmaw to ever address the council officially. "We are establishing the Santos Compassion Doctrine," the council president announced. "No sentient being will be abandoned without attempting aid, regardless of cost or inconvenience. Captain Santos and her team will receive the Galactic Medal of Honor." But the greatest moment came later in a research station orbiting a distant moon. Aisha had found them. 3 more Dreadmaws in deep hibernation, hidden in ancient caves. When they woke, Titan was there. He was not the last anymore. Maria watched as Titan touched faces with his own kind for the first time in 3 centuries. The lights on their crystalline plates pulsed and danced in patterns of joy. "Thank you," Titan's message read, displayed for Maria to see. "You gave me back my future." "No," Maria said softly, touching his massive arm. "You gave the galaxy back its soul. We just reminded everyone what it means to care." Years later, human ethics became mandatory study across the Galactic Council. Young aliens came to Earth to learn about compassion, mercy, and the courage to stand against cruelty. And whenever the galaxy forgot, whenever someone suggested leaving another being to suffer alone, people remembered the humans who defied an empire to save one life. Because that's what humans do. They see someone hurting and they cannot look away.